A dog is dead and a firefighter is hurt after a large house fire Wednesday on Rockford's west side. Around 4:40 in the afternoon, first responders went to the 1300 block of Andrews Street where flames ripped through the home. Firefighters went inside the house to make sure everyone made it out. One firefighter fell through a staircase and was brought to the hospital with significant but non-life-threatening burns. A spokesperson says 2 adults and 5 children are displaced and are being helped by the American Red Cross. The home is a total loss and expected to be demolished.
This job can be very dangerous. We take what we do very seriously, and we're well trained in what we do. And so, the number of structure fires we have, in a year, we know that there's inherent risk. And so whenever something like this happens, it hits our department pretty hard.